What's going on? RGIJ is back, baby. Homeowner's tough, man, because I've been living here for 4 years. We just fixed our roof. Thank God it's finally done and over with. We don't have to worry about it no more. Now the next project is underneath the garage ceiling. We got to try to get that fixed because we had leaks from when the roof was damaged. So we had some water leaks from when the 2 hurricanes came. We just recently fucking changed our garage door opener because we had the chain one and it just was terrible. I mean, it was bad. So now we went to Home Depot. We bought the quiet belt and everything, whatever. Had them come out and do the installation, everything else. So it's just like one after another. You know what I'm saying? Like being a homeowner, you have to. Those are the things you just got to put up with. Like my boy just replaced his water heater. It was like 2 years old, and water was seeping through the bottom and through the top. But homeowner, man, it's nice to own a house and everything else. It's a good investment. But the fucking when shit happens, shit happens, and it's not like $100 to fix this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a $500 to $1,000. The roof, our roof was a little over 10 G's to fix, but that was all through insurance. But still, you know what I'm saying? Like all that shit and starts adding up, you know? And now you got to, and then the other things, you got to find good quality workers that are willing to do the job correctly. Like these, it's sometimes you try to do a friend of a friend of a friend, and then they half-ass shit or it doesn't get done correctly, and then you fucking, you're lost. Whereas you find good quality people that actually do the work legally, you know, cross the T's, dot the I's and everything else, and they make sure your fucking work is on point. But man, I'm like, I never had these issues when I was in an apartment. I just call maintenance and be like, yo, come fix this shit.
You know what's funny about that? So like we had one where our garbage disposal doesn't work, right? So my wife's hitting the button, so hey, look, it's not going. You hit it, it's like it smells like something's burning. You're like, fuck, man. It could be a couple of things. I'm not a handyman by no fucking measure, right? So I'm like, fuck. I was like, oh, well, you know, I called like a plumber. Like the guy was like, hey, it's a Saturday. I can go over there, but it's double my rate. So you're looking at like $250. And I was like, can I call you back? Let me research this shit. He goes, man, I'll give you a hint though. He goes like, there's normally a screw underneath your garbage disposal where if you have an Allen key, you can just like hit it loose. More than likely that's what it is. And I was like, hey, thank you. I was like, if I call you back, then, you know, like I tried that. And he's like, all right, cool. Got on fucking Google. And I tried it, and I was like, man, fuck it. We'll try it. Like, cause, man, it's like $250, $300, $250 to get him here. So that means parts and labor. We're looking at a $300-$400 deal for a garbage disposal. So I'm like, all right, so we'll try. I open up the fucking, you know, cabinets, get underneath there. And I was like, okay, like get it. And I fucking just like hit it loose. So I hit it a couple times, went loose, press a button, fucking works. And I was like, thank God, man. Like, I swear to God. Because that's, you know, I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine some dude's like, all right, I'll be there. And you know, the moment that dude you open the door, that's a $250, like that's $250. And that motherfucker's gonna get down there and be like, ching, 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 I'm done. You're like, motherfucker.
I mean, the cool thing is that he at least forewarned you, like, hey, try this, you know, because he
I don't think he wanted to go. That's why.
Right. But I mean, sometimes he easily could have been like, just show up and still get paid because he knew how easy it was to fix it. We had the same issue. So we actually had to buy a new garbage disposal. So we did that, right? We hooked it up, set it up and everything else. For some reason, it's not working. So I went ahead and called the company. I was like, hey, man, we just bought this. This shit doesn't fucking work and this and that. So they said, okay, we're going to send you another one. So I said, okay, cool. Tell me why all we needed to do was just tighten it underneath. We just had to tighten the fucking nut or whatever, the clamp. We tightened it, we hit it, and I was like, oh my God. Because the whole time it didn't want to turn on. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't put on correctly. But they still send us the second product. So we got to sit in the pantry, a whole new garbage disposal, just in case this one, you know, breaks down or anything. But dude, it's so much money. So much money just
have I told you how have I told you how I broke a toilet?
Sitting on it?
All right. So I haven't. No. So okay. So do you know what the it's they call the Phillip valve, like in your toilet? You know how like when you flush it, it has a thing in there and it puts in water, right? So it's a Phillip valve, right?
Yeah.
So you know, our house is like a couple years old, like 4 years or some shit like that. So it's time to replace it because it could help with running water and shit like that, right? So I was like, okay, cool. I went to Home Depot, found one. It was like, hey, we'll give you a whole kit. Boom. It's a whole kit, $20. Like, fuck, easy, man. Cool. go home and I'm doing it. And so I'm fucking, you know, like it says, okay, you got to take off the tank and you got to, you know, flush the water and do all this shit like that. Cause you got to replace the whole stoppers and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. I fucking do that shit. Right. And so it says, okay, cool. But you got to take off the tank. So you got to untighten the bolts. So I'm fucking doing it, man. I'm like, man, I don't know, man. This don't seem right. And so again, I'm not a mechanical person by no fucking means. I'm a fucking goon. So my wife's like, I think you're tightening too tight. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just fucking tightening it, lefty loosey, whatever. So I'm doing it. And I hear it clink. It fucking cracked the whole fucking toilet because I just chomped it down so hard. Yeah. So I was like, fuck, we got to replace the whole goddamn toilet, right? So I'm like, motherfucker. I'm not a handyman by no fucking means, right? And so the wife's like, go call somebody. I'm like, no, fuck that. Like, I'm not going to call someone.
That's your pride. That's your man pride right there.
I don't give a fuck about the pride. I'm looking at the cost, man. Like, that's like how, and so I'm like, how hard is this shit? Like, again, so again, like when it comes to garbage disposal, how hard is this first? Like, I need to know, like, how difficult. If we're talking about we need to level some shit, we need to do some things, or if it's electrical work, I won't fucking touch it. Fuck that. Like, even though every like I worked with electricians in the Air Force, I worked with those guys, and some of them were not the smartest, but they mess with electricity. So I was like, I'm not like, and sometimes they were a little off. I think because they got shocked a lot.
Right.
You know, whatever. But anyways, like I don't mess with electrical. I won't mess with it. I'm good. Like I'll plug shit in, but if you tell me it's sketchy, I'll hire a guy to come pick it. I don't fuck with that shit because it'll kill you. So I'm like, fuck it. I look up YouTube and I'm like, you know how you get that feeling? Like, you know what? I think I can do this.
I could do this. Yeah.
I think I can fucking do it. I think
That's
I can do
the devil telling you, you could do it. You could do it.
And so I'm watching the videos. I'm like, it's a 30-minute job. We got this shit. It's like, all right, cool. Fuck it. Let's go to, I was like, hey, let's go to Lowe's. We go to Lowe's. They got a military discount, by the way. So go over there and get that shit. So I got a toilet. And I was like, you know what? I want this toilet. I want to let's go and splurge a little bit more and get a better toilet. So I'm fucking doing it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I have to replace the whole fucking toilet now because the whole thing, the commode and all the tank and all that shit like that, it just cracked.
Right.
So I'm trying to tank that shit off because it's fucking, it's there. So, and it was like, I was rocking it. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going goon. So I fucking gooned it and fucking just jacked it up. I hear, doom, fucking put a hole in the wall. Like, motherfucker.
Holy
I was like,
shit.
fuck, man. But we got the toilet off, right? So I was like, fuck. So I'm listening to all these videos. And what was a 30-minute fucking video? This is what I hate about YouTube sometimes. Because you got to take it with a grain of salt. You know, that guy took like 4 or 5 different fucking takes and he's a professional. And so I'm like, it's like a 5-hour gig. Like we started during the day and it's nighttime and I'm fucking just like yanking on shit. Like, motherfucker. We got a toilet fixed. You can't see the hole because it's so fucking close. I was like, all right, we're good. But it was one of the ones where I was like, so my wife's like, I don't want to be a plumber, man. I would never want. It's not that like replacing a toilet is not that hard.
Right.
But it's like, I don't want to do this shit, man. Like you have to get into small spaces. You have to get on the floor and shit. I was like, you know, like you have appreciation for people, what they do, not because of what they do is amazing. Cause you're just like, I really don't want to do it. Like I wouldn't want to be a plumber.
Right.
I think I could replace another toilet, but I was like, I don't ever want to replace the toilet again. If I have to replace a toilet, I'm pretty fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Right. Cause I generally like, so that's why it's funny. Like we have these jobs in America that when people do it, you're just like, so glad somebody else does that shit for me. I genuinely do not fucking want to do that. I put up drywall before. I don't want to do that shit. Like, you know, like you do some basic things sometimes and you're just like, okay, I get why they get paid. But at the same time, you look at them, you're like, but they don't seem that intelligent. But when it comes to like doing, like putting up like like these things, they're almost artists of what they do. Like they're really good because you get a person who's like, oh, I can do that shit. And you're like, no, you can't. Like, no. You're an idiot compared to what he does every day. Right. This is a legit craftsman and he's good at his craft. You're just a guy who thinks he saw a video that thinks he can do it. And then when it's like that before and after, you know, like that Pinterest, like cakes, he's like, nah, my shit's all fucked up. Like, no, we're not gonna do that no more.
But it's funny because, I feel it's rewarding when you do, like when you fix something that you did, you know what I'm saying? Like I know now how to put up ceiling fans. I know how to do the whole change the toilet and everything else. I know how to do, what else do we do? Oh, we worked on the AC unit. We learned how to fix, because we put up a nest and everything else. So we learned how to do all this other, you know, contraction, electrical stuff and everything. All of that stuff for me is rewarding because now, I mean, when you own a home, you have to be able to do that stuff because again, thousands of dollars you're going to be spending for somebody to just come and do something as easy as just take the Allen wrench and turn the bolt. You know what I'm saying? I like to be able to learn that, but of course there are some things that are out of our hands that we're just not too smart on. But if you could watch the YouTube videos and learn it, one of my brothers, he lives in Jersey, dude. He has changed out his kitchen cabinets. He's put in he remodeled his whole thing based off like the YouTube showing him what to do, and he will go get the tools, get what they need, and fucking go to town, and he will do it in little increments, and then he's like, "Yo, here's the end result," and I'm just like, "Fuck, man," because I honestly believe like if you're handy that way, dude, that saves you so much when you want to do renovations in your house. If you want to take out the carpet and put tiles and you know how to do that shit, you are saving so much money on hiring somebody or paying somebody to do that. Like I said, the garage door opener. I was outside with the dude. I was just chit-chatting with him and just observing what he was doing. And this dude put it up, took out the old, put in the new in like 10 minutes. And I looked at myself and I was like, man, we could have done that. You know what I'm saying? But I know for sure we probably would have fucked shit up. But I was like, man, he did it so easy, but because he has so much years of experience of changing so many people's fucking garage door openers. But I looked at it and I was like, because I told Rollo, I was like, dude, let's just YouTube and do it ourselves. We'll go buy the equipment and we'll do it ourselves. Let's save a couple of $100. Thank God we did it. But, the guy, the way he did it, man, was just like, yo, this is simple as shit, man. Like, anybody could fucking do this, But it's crazy. But owning a home is tough. Yep.
You know what I find super accomplishing?
What's that?
I literally bought Google at $86 and now it's at $97 plus. That's like, you know what I mean? It's those things are different one of us, right? So like, to me, I love stocks, right? Like if somebody was like, you're a fucking moron, you don't know how to do this. I'm like, that is true. Like, that's a true statement. But look, I bought Google and it's up $10. Like, it was on sale. Like, I think there's things that you got to really be like, hey man, I'm good at doing this and I'm really not good at over here. So like, we have a shed, and so we put tile down, right? So put vinyl flooring down for the. No, fuck that. I cannot do that shit. That's why I paid someone to do my house, my vinyl floor for my house. I saw in a really small ones. I'm not good at that shit. So you have to cut. I can't cut in a straight line. I fucking was cutting. Right. It was like the fucking. You see the vinyl? One of them's like fucking like this. It's like, fuck, like what would you do? Tetris? It's like, what the fuck is this? I try to like make it all nice. I'm like, no, I fucked it up. No, definitely. There's a reason why. So like we got our shed, my wife and I, we did it ourselves, right? Okay. And then our house, we took out all our carpeting and put vinyl in there, right? We're going to make it into a rental one day. So I was like, hey, let's just go ahead and do it now. So that way we can enjoy it. And then it's time to replace the carpet anyways. Yeah. And so we hired a company to come out and they do it. Now, fuck that. Like, there was a difference between my wife and I. Look at myself, like, I didn't even know you were supposed to do that shit. So these motherfuckers ripped up the carpet. They went room by room, prepared everything so that we could still live in this house and all that shit like that. And they fucking like sanded down, make sure it was flush. They did a whole 9 yards. My stupid ass would have never thought about doing that at all. And my house would have been bumpy the whole fucking time. Right. So no, like, yeah, for how, like, but I know some people that are super handy, right? Like you're saying, like your brother, they can do a cabinet. Mm-hmm. Great. That is not my area. What I've learned from YouTube is how to code. So I taught myself how to code from YouTube. Right. And I've tried to teach myself how to do other things like handyman stuff. It doesn't work that way for me. I think there's a, little brain cross of you're just not like, I'm not handy.
Are you
like,
good with cars? Are you good with cars? Like,
fuck no. Fuck no.
Neither am I, man.
Hell
I know certain
no.
little things here. I know how to do an oil change. I know how to change out my cabin filter, my engine filter, all that stuff. But I had a friend, man, and when I was in Cali, I still talk to him to this day. He was in the Air Force with me. We were stationed there. This dude was fucking mechanic, dude. He literally, so you remember on bases, they used to have their own auto hobby shop that you could bring your car, you could use a certain space, and then you work on it. All you had to do was just ask for the tools. So he was really big on Hondas. He always had like a Honda Civic. He drives a VW now, but he loved Honda Civics. My first car was a Honda. So anytime I had issues, man, he would take it. He would replace my brake pads. He would see if anything was warped. He would take out this, take out that. Like, he knew the engine and everything else. Dude, things that a dealership would have cost me $1,000 or more to replace or to fix or to do whatever, this dude was doing it just, to fucking help me out. But he was so smart. And I was like, man, to me, that's a good skill set to have. Like if you could do home repairs and car mechanics and stuff like that, man, you fucking save mad money just on little things. Because that's how the dealerships get you, because I don't really know. He comes back and says, "Oh yeah, we saw, I'll come in for an oil change. This dude's coming with a report. Like, yo, this needs to be changed. This needs to be changed. This is red. This is red. This is red." And I'm like, did the oil get changed? Like, I'm not trying to bring this shit in to get all these. I came here for a $20 oil change, not to be paying $500 to fucking change. I know I'm going to need it later on. But, man, this guy was a whiz with the car, man. So you're not, so your car, if there's something wrong, you taking it in? Like,
I'll take it on no matter what.
Yeah.
No, I have a sticker that says I got 4,000 more miles. I'm taking it in. I take it in, but like I can change tires, I can change brakes, I can change the oil for real. Like, but I'm not like.
Oh wait, you could change brakes.
One thing that
you could change your brakes.
Yeah, I can do. Okay, I can do those things.
Yeah.
But again, like what I look at is my ROI. Like, what is my time worth?
Right.
Changing brakes for some people, if I take it to a shop, they're gonna have it in and out and fairly quick. My ass is not gonna have it in and out fairly quick. Like it's just not gonna have. I'm just not that good at those things. Like I've had those same people that have that skill set. I've had the people that like what I do for work for real estate. A lot of it is operational stuff, and so I do a lot of like IT stuff. And it's like to me that's super simple. And so I think it is funny, right? Like when people are like, I've had some guys that are like, "Oh, you don't know how to do this with a car?" I'm like, "No." They're like, I'm like, "Bitch, let me see your laptop. I will fuck up your shit real fast, and then we'll be talking real fast. Like let's just chill on the whole power dynamics, man. Like before you start like, because people will do that to you. There are some people like, "Oh, you don't know how to do this. Like you don't know how to like there's something you don't know how to do in your house." You're like, "No." They're like, like the pussy. You're not a real man, and you're like, okay. And they're like, I can't get on Wi-Fi right now. And you're like, are you a fucking idiot? Like, do you do this? I'm like, or there are people like, I can't get on Wi-Fi. Like, hey, did you restart your computer? Like, no, restart it. And they look at you like, I'm telling you, dude, it's simple. But it's the same shit. I don't know if it's a guy thing. I really don't know. But there's a couple guys they said some things to me, and they give you that look like, you know what I do. I'm like, motherfucker, these hands are soft for a reason, motherfucker. I use my brain for work. Like I don't work outside. I'm not gonna work outside. I don't want to. Like, that's cause, there's some people when they work outside, they actually enjoy it, right? I've known some people, man, like they are craftsmen. Like the things they can do with wood, I'm just like, bravo. Yeah. But anytime they talk to me about that shit, I'm like, I'm bored to death, man. Like I'll pay you $20 to shut the fuck up, right. And I'll pay you another $100 to get the product done. Cause it's amazing. I don't care. You know what I mean? But like what I like to do is stocks. Like I like learning that stuff and those things. And so it's one of those things where it's very rare to find a person who's like, I'm good at cars. I'm good at like fixing a house, and I'm also good at business. I'm good at stock market. Right. It's just, that's a weird thing about us. Like we're so weird people where we have like such big gaps. And I think that's a lot of times that we forget. We watch like somebody on YouTube who's beautiful at what they do with a house, right? They can renovate. Right. And it's like, that's a skill set they have. And that's amazing. But anything else, they probably have a lot of gaps. Like, have you been to like the wine tasting things and people will tell you the taste they smell and shit like that? Like, this is a earthy tone. And you're like, the fuck is this shit? Like, I can't even pronounce the fucking wine, man. What are you talking about? Earthy tones. You gotta twirl it first, smell it, take a deep breath, and then then you taste it. And you gotta do like mouthwash. You gotta gargle it around your mouth. Dude, when I used to go to the wine tab, I'd be like, just fucking pour me the wine and let me drink it. Like I don't give a fuck. I'm not here to do all of that. I'm not an enthusiast like that. I'm just here to fucking sip on the wine. If it tastes good to me, it tastes good to me. I'll get a bottle. If it doesn't taste good, this fucking wine is terrible. Yeah, it's like the beer too. Like everyone does that shit. They're like, I can taste the pop. You're like, what? Like, I swear to God, you're making up words, man. Like,
very
I swear.
Hoppy. Very hoppy beer.
Yeah, what? Yeah. I'm just like, how do you? I taste them. I don't taste shit, man. Like, but there's some people that have that weird skill set. Like, but the most obnoxious people are the fucking wine people, man. I swear to God, they're so obnoxious. And the best part though is they're so obnoxious. But when somebody wants to be like them, they also get super, like, just so pretentious. But you know they don't know what the fuck they're talking about because they repeat the same shit. Like, yeah, I can taste the grapes. They still like dry. You're like, just shut the fuck up. No, you can't. You can't taste that shit. It's earthy. Yeah, it's really earthy taste. I'm like,
I'd be like, yo, this shit tastes like crap, and they'd be like, it's so earthy. You could taste all the fruits in there. I'm like, no, this shit is.
You know they're lying because they say the same shit. It's earthy. Like, the earth is a little mild in this taste. You're like, shut the fuck up. You are not that goddamn good. Is this? Let me guess. This was in Southern California. Like, you're right. Like, shut the fuck up.
Oh man. Like, I mean, people who are food critics, they're the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're able to taste all this different stuff. Or you didn't add this. You didn't have that. Like, look at Gordon fucking Ramsay. That dude is killing it with his fucking reality shows, talking about how shit tastes terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and you will probably eat and be like, oh, this is not bad. This is pretty good. But he'd be like, yo, this is fucking disgusting. Food critics are the same. Wine tasters. And these are occupations. These are people that actually get paid for doing all this shit.
But if they're fat, do you trust their word when it comes to food? If they're or like, do you like if somebody's skinny, someone's like, this is a really amazing food. I'm like, I don't trust you.
Yeah, I don't trust
But if there's a guy who's really big, there's a guy you're like, you look like you got like, not only do you have diabetes, but you look like you're pushing about 2 more years and you're gone. And he's like, don't go to that burger point, go to this burger joint. And you're like, yeah, I will. They're like, why are you coming here?
Take their advice.
That guy.
I would take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if some skinny kid 90 pounds like, yo, that burger joint is good, I'd be like, no, it's not. It's not doing what it's supposed to be doing.
I don't trust you. No.
Oh man, what is stereotype there? We're just stereotype,
dude. But it's in everything though. Everyone's like that. I promise you. There's something like that. Like